Hello, this is my first video, trying to come up with a joke to open with. I have a joke about ARFID. It's not very palatable. I have a joke about OCD. I keep hearing it's not right. I have a joke about hoarding. I don't want to share it. I have a joke about paranoia. I hope no one's heard it. I could also make a joke about sensory issues, but it feels too wrong. I'm not ready to come out with my agoraphobia joke. I have a joke about autism. I can't tell if it's funny. As an actual autistic person, let's start there actually. The phrase actually autistic is used by autistics to distinguish from non-autistics who use #autism or #autistic, because those hashtags can be flooded by people who don't have ASD or even know anything about it. Particularly unpleasant are the anti-vaxxers using those hashtags, always eager to dissuade healthcare at risk to children being incredibly ill, and the threat of those children becoming the dreaded A word. Because then they wouldn't be normal. They wouldn't fit in. You get your kids vaccinated and they might even go from the A word to the R word, through the LGBT words. And if you don't agree or you think that's ableist, well then you've gone all the way to triple Z. And you hate kids. You need to stop being so woke and wake up. Naturally, that's a bit toxic from our perspective. So we try to avoid it. The idea was to build a community and an information base that the newly diagnosed could come to without having to wade through the hate and misinformation that's built up online. Another reason for it's there. With Actually Autistic being run by autistics, we hope to limit and combat misinformation. With our own hashtag, we can express our own narrative. There are well-meaning and ill-meaning groups that have tendencies to talk over us. Autism Speaks is one of the largest autism awareness organizations in the world. And their puzzle piece logo symbolizes that we have a piece missing from us. They ran an ad that said autism worked faster than cancer, and that if you were married, having an autistic child would lead to your divorce. When I was first diagnosed, I did what a lot of us do and looked it up, and I found misinformation, fear-mongering, and bigotry. That still impacts me a little in the way I view myself. At the less negative end of it, there were well-meaning personalities and medical professionals talking about autism, but not much that could tell me what it meant to be autistic until I found the actual autistic hashtag and I saw people like me, and I felt seen. They talked about things I experienced, only it wasn't things I experienced, it was things we experience. And I am glad to be a part of that now. Though I will state to be clear, this isn't going to be an autism-only channel. But I will be trying to get a few more videos out about the subject this month, as well as some other videos. If you're wondering if you should follow me, subscribe to me, whatever, I'll give a brief channel introduction here. I'm autistic, which means I will make non-exclusively autism-related content. And as is the way for so many autistics to indulge in info dumping, I will do review videos. I want to post thoughts about philosophy and spirituality. Some poems or short stories I've made or will make, and I want to tackle some subjects that are difficult. A primary part of ASD is social developmental issues. I want to try to help other autistics navigate these issues, and confront some of the problems with the current community. Because fond of it as I am, we have reached a threshold where we lose sight of the initial issues on which we came together to solve. One of the problems I've noticed in the autistic community of late is an ableist intolerance for some of us having difficulty with understanding social conventions, despite this being a major part of being autistic. You can't refuse to look at or allow others to look at a subject academically and still expect them to learn. It's not just that simple for all of us. If we cannot provide a space for autistics to learn and other people, whether that's due to a different disorder or simply not having the privilege of guidance, if we continue to make this space hostile to people who haven't learned any better, they're going to go somewhere that welcomes not learning. Because there are plenty of communities that would love naive, socially developmentally disabled people that have been dissuaded from learning. Of course we shouldn't accept bigotry or hate, but there is something paranoid about our community's recent trend in condemning our own, for not understanding something that's convoluted to an holistic person, even experts on the subject disagreeing. We've become a bit of an echo chamber, and it is hurting vulnerable members of our community. As mentioned, it's not going to be the main focus of the channel, but I thought it fair to warn you. I will be challenging some of those conventions. If you struggle separating entertaining an idea for argument's sake and subscribing to an idea, this channel, or at least those videos, aren't going to be for you. On the other hand, if you felt afraid to ask something about a difficult topic you couldn't understand on your own, I might be able to accommodate you. So let's get started. Something I don't see talked about with masking is that masking is in some ways the prosthetic of our disability as well as a symptom. I don't have complete natural affect or expressions. I can pull it back if I can relax enough. I can be more honest with my mask. But I still needed to complete the missing parts. My truly natural expressions are like lightly tugged fishhooks, pulled asymmetrically across my face. Just small spasms. A smile is natural. It's not learned, it's inbuilt in people. Completely blind people who are blind from birth can still smile. It's a person thing to not have to learn it. I learned it watching people, like I learned to walk, monkey see, monkey do. When you're happy or pleased or excited, you smile. So I learned it, like an impressionist or an actor, reacting and adapting to my environment. And then it developed, as I did. Not just a smile, not just expressions, catered masks made up by me both consciously and unconsciously. And this is what is usually talked about, the ones we build to fit in with other people who can smile. We stop using those bad masks and the masking problem is fixed. But personally, I'm unsettled by all of my masks. Something in regards to this I found relatable was not from the community, but actors talking about watching their performances, how they can see the lie. And that's why they can't watch themselves. I can't edit or watch this if I'm looking at that lie. I wouldn't be able to scroll past it, not without feeling some repulsion. Contrary to that, I find my literal masks comforting. They're gratifying to make, and unlike my masks, that are conditioned response, these literal masks are made and worn by choice, which makes me feel my autonomy, like I'm taking back control. So that's why I wear a mask. That and people are crazy online these days. And coming from a guy with a mask for face, that's saying something. Anyway, like I was saying, I have issues with masking outside of just the bad masks, and I wanted to share it, because I don't want the only relatable thing you see about it to be from outside the community. Delving more into the masks are prosthetics analogy, let's say it's a prosthetic limb. The bad masks are usually made for you to force you into a normal form, and then you're made to compete with able-bodied people, and that's where stress builds until it breaks, which in this analogy would be burnout or meltdown. They can also be caused by overexertion. Doesn't matter if it's a well-made mask, it can be advanced enough to be indistinguishable from a natural part. But you aren't built for those movements. Even if you can take the strain for a while, eventually you won't be able to. And the result is a meltdown, or shutdown, or burnout. Then the good masks aren't built to force us into a role. They're just there to help us get around and communicate. Which is good, that's useful, that's helpful, it isn't dishonest. Any more than text-to-speech when you're nonverbal. But when I look at mine, I feel wrong. And that's also fine. That's not the most healthy, but it doesn't mean I, or you who feel this way too, are bad. It's okay to struggle, and what helps me is this mask and others that I made myself. It's just a novelty item. A piece of dress-up that obscures whether what's underneath is natural or not. Two people in dress-up are equal to an observer, even if that observer is yourself. And it's something anyone can do. I can't smile, but I can wear a mask with a smile on it. And so can you. That makes us equal. Seems like a good note to end on. Thank you for watching. If you have feedback, please leave it in the comments.